Hi, welcome back to Conversations on a Bench. I'm Kim Cook. I'm the CEO here at Bread of Life Mission, and we are down at the corner of South Main and First Avenue. And I'm going to sit on this bench until noon tomorrow and just having conversations around homeless issues, mental illness, addiction, and so on. And we're going to have great conversations with community leaders and people like you. If you want to come down and talk to me, I'd welcome you to come sit on the bench, ask me questions, or tell me whatever it is that you'd like to share. Um, until 5 o'clock, we're in a matching challenge where Six Robleys has sponsored us a $5,000 sponsorship that is a challenge to you to donate. So between now and 5 o'clock, if you hit the QR code at the top or go to our website and give, it'll all go toward that $5,000 match. So thank you for giving. And so now I am sitting here. We've brought out the blankets. Okay, it's a little bit chilly. There's tons of noise around. I hope you can't hear that, but we just had like an incident up the street. Somebody got arrested. We've got lots of traffic going by, and there's a fire alarm going off in a building across the street. So I hope you can't hear that, but just know it's a little weird to stay focused. So I have one of our wonderful staff here. This is Stephanie Long. Thank you for sitting with me.
You're welcome.
Um, Stephanie is brand new case manager. She's been a resource advocate with us, and she just got a promotion. So she's really been doing the job of case management. We call life coach for quite some time.
Yeah.
So thank you. You're doing an awesome job,
Thank you
and I
so much.
love the way you love our guests.
Thank
So,
you.
so Stephanie, why don't you tell them more about what you do here?
Yeah, I'm case manager now. I work with the gentlemen that come in the shelter, and when they first come in, there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of, how did we get here? What are your goals? And a lot of times, some guys don't know that. They don't know what they want, where they want to proceed. But our jobs as case managers is to lead them down to that right path of where they're going. And, they're number one, they're safe now. And so we work through that. And on a daily basis, the guys have their classes, they have their chores, and it's really nice to get to know their stories, get to know who they are and where they come from. And a lot of them haven't told that story, or there's nobody to listen to understand who they are, and just giving them a chance or an opportunity to do that is one huge step. And a lot of times that's all they want is to be able to talk. With the mission, putting out that message of Christ likeness, of what it means to serve, what it means to serve with humility and join together in a community is something new for a lot of people, and they're not used to having people that want to help, or to see the kindness every day, or being asked how are you doing and how is it going, or just those different things. And so it's new, and a lot of times that I hear is it's really amazing that to come in and we see you and you're just like, hi, how are you? It's like, it's really cool, and
Yeah.
you make a difference just by that small thing. And that's one thing that I do talk to the gentleman about, is how that makes a difference when we can build each other up and not tear each other down. It's very important that as a community, the gentlemen that are here, it's about building up. And part of that is learning everyday skills, learning how to communicate, learning about, just their biblical studies and their CBT, and all the all the things that goes into making a holistic person.
Tell me about what it looks like when somebody first gets here. Let's say the first week
Yeah.
or 2 weeks. What an individual, not what they're doing, but how they're feeling.
How they're feeling. A lot of times apprehensive, afraid of their surroundings. You know, even though they are with the same people every day, a lot of men don't open up right away. They keep to themselves. They're not used to that community, living like in community with one another, and so for them the whole experience is different. I just had a gentleman talking to me today about how, he feels lonely. He's only been here for a few days, and that's a common feeling.
Hmm.
That's a common sentiment of a lot of them is, I don't know where to start. How do I move forward? I feel like I'm stuck in the past, and
Yeah.
I do a lot of talking about, being in the there and then, but now
Hmm.
we have to be in the here and now.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so it's going to be something that we're not going to continue to look backwards, but we have to look forwards. And being
Hmm.
in the here and now requires you to be present. And
Hmm.
so that's what's a lot of them look at in those
Yeah.
first couple of weeks is how I got here and how I'm doing, how I'm getting to know people, or where do I go? It's like a baby steps,
Hmm. It takes a while for them even to feel safe, doesn't it?
Yes.
And they come in and they need sleep
Yes.
because they've been sleeping sometimes on the street with all this kind of noise around them and
Yeah.
not knowing what was going to come at them from any moment.
Yeah. Uh,
And in some ways that's comfortable for them, but they're not getting rest.
no,
And then they come in and they need sleep.
they do. They're very tired. Um, One thing that you'll notice a lot is some of the men that come in are sluggish, and they spend a lot of time, trying to rest because, I mean, they've been out here.
Hmm.
In the wintertime, it's cold. In the summertime, it's hot. And it's just like, it's exhausting to
It is.
not really know where you're going to sleep the next night,
Hmm.
if it's going to be safe where you sleep, if something's going to happen to you.
Hmm.
So not only is it physically exhausting, it's mentally
Yeah.
exhausting as well.
And you think about it when you are out. I don't know. We talk about adventuring in the Pacific
Yeah.
Northwest. And we'll go out and we'll drive around or we'll go explore somewhere, and we're out all day long, right? And
Yes.
everything is new to us, and there's people around. When we go back to our home, it just feels so comfortable. Like, oh, I'm so glad to be home. I
Yeah.
can let down. We know it's safe. There's nothing coming at us.
Yeah.
We've got our ways of doing things and our food we like. And the people that we're serving have had none of that.
No, they haven't.
And they need to learn to appreciate that they have it now.
Yes. And it's a long process though. It's
Hmm.
not something that they get used to overnight. It's like you're safe.
Hmm.
And to hear that, it's different. You and I, we hear the word "you're safe." You think, yeah, I'm safe and I'm secure. You get home, you lock the door, you're safe and you're secure.
Hmm.
Here, they've come to a place where they can feel like they're safe. Nothing's going to happen to you. You can
Hmm.
rest without feeling like, what do I need to look over my shoulders? Do I need to, constantly wake up in the middle of the night? With the things that we take for granted are being able to go home at night and go sit on the couch and rest. And what we try to do in the effort is to get these men to a point in their lives where they can have that. And
Hmm.
I always tell the guys, I don't want to just see you surviving. I want to see you thrive. I
Hmm.
want to see you do something different. I want to see you make the good changes that where you can have what you see others have. What
Hmm.
you want to go home to your home, right? You want to go home, close the door, kick your shoes off, sit down on your couch, and at night go to your bed.
Yeah.
And that's important. That's super important to want something like that because
Yeah.
that's where you get your peace. That's where you find your solitude,
Right.
and that's where you're okay.
I was talking to one of our staff that had been in the mission and now he's on staff and he's going to help us tonight and he's pulling a couple of close shifts.
Yeah.
And he's going to go home in between and rest and come back. And I said, we kind of have some beds here if you want to just crash somewhere. And he goes, I worked really hard
Yep.
for this place, and I want to go back and rest in my own apartment. It's really important when
It's
they
very
find that, isn't it?
important. Yeah.
So let's go to the other end. When we're helping somebody to find housing,
Yes.
and they've come through our program, and they're they're going to move out.
Yes.
What are some of the feels that are happening?
Oh man, but sometimes they're scared. A lot, and most of the time they're scared.
Yeah.
Because you think you've been living with, everything's kind of done for you, and you don't. You're living in community, and that's the thing. So when you're moving, it's kind of like I get to be on my own. I get to make my own rules. I don't. I don't have to answer to when I wake up, and a lot of them kind of get a little antsy about that,
Yeah.
which
Nervous.
it's understandable.
Yeah.
You've had structure for so long, and now you're able to do what you want to do, and but those skills that they're learning are what reinforce what they should be doing and staying
Right.
on the right path, and meeting appointments, going to work, keeping with mentorship or how whatever they've got going on after the fact, and those are important things. And so the skills that they learn here are what they're supposed to be taking with them to continue to live that life that they've worked hard for.
Yeah.
It's like when they say that they've worked hard for that to be able to go home, he has worked hard to be able to go home.
Yeah.
And that's something that any of them should be proud of achieving that success, of moving onward, and hopefully the skills that they learn here to balance their lives and to set the precedence of what's important to them and keeping on that path holds. And that's what we hope and pray for.
That's great. What are some of the things that we teach people in our program? Just like a high level, like anger management,
Yeah, anger management, trauma informed care, cognitive behavioral therapy. We do life skills. Communication skills are super important. It's often overlooked when you're not using it all the time or realizing how important it is. But to be able to communicate your needs, your wants, or even just, I have a doctor's appointment and this is what I need, I need this time away. Learning just those basic things are very important to be able to function in the outside world. Being able to communicate your needs is very important in the outside world, because a lot of things don't just happen to people, but they don't know how to communicate what they need.
Right.
And so that's one thing that's good. A lot of their studies with G especially is the trauma informed care, learning about your past and your family of origin and how that plays into who you are today is very important, because a lot of things that you don't realize in childhood affect who you are today,
Right.
and how you respond to the world around you. And that's very important to learn, and how to work through that with cognitive behavioral therapy and the tools to change that behavior. And that's something that the guys do take with them.
Yeah.
And it lasts for a long time.
And don't you wish like more adults in our world would just learn some of this?
Exactly,
Right?
yes.
Because like I have things in my background, in my family of origin, that I'm still learning, oh, this is a thing that I need to heal, or I need to look at differently, or maybe I'm responding sometimes out of that past trauma.
Yes.
And it's a constant learning that everybody should have, but these guys maybe have never thought that way.
No.
Never been given the opportunity.
No. And then it brings about a self-awareness,
Yeah.
and that's something, like, even with my own education and learning and going through like anger management and how that works, and anger therapy, one of the things that you do in as an exercise is looking at the first time you ever got angry,
Yeah.
and how that plays a role in how you react now. And a lot of these guys don't have that foundation to do that, but they're given an opportunity here to look at that, to look at where they are and how that childhood affected who they are now.
Yeah. So we don't have a lot of time left, so I want to make sure we get to one story.
Okay.
Well, let's start with, tell me a story, not the one we talked about.
Okay.
Just a quick one of somebody who you've just been so proud of, that you've seen such a difference. And
I've got one guy. Literally, he
Okay.
actually just called me recently. But from when I teach the classes, my most recent one was don't be a stumbling block.
Don't what?
Don't be a don't be a stumbling block.
Okay.
Which means is we're looking at Joshua 1:9 to encourage each other and to build each other up,
Mhm.
right? And so he just recently called me and he said, this afternoon I volunteered, and
Yeah.
yes, I was like
That's the
so
final
excited,
step in our life path.
right? And it's like he's like, I went and volunteered and I wanted to know if it's okay if I keep doing that. And I was like, of course, of course you can keep doing that. And he's like, oh, okay. And he said, and I prayed with someone yesterday, and what they needed they got. And I was like,
That's awesome.
wow, that's amazing.
That's great.
Like and instantly I'm just like, you see where the little things that I feel like are little things that I'm teaching, they're getting, and they're like, someone took something and actually did it. And I always quote James. I'm like, what does James tell us? I say this to the guys every day. I'm like, what does James tell you? Don't be just hearers, be doers. Be doers, you guys. And so when he called me and he said that, I was like, he's doing it. He's doing it. So yeah, that's one of the really cool ones.
That's
recently.
awesome.
Yeah.
So I want people to understand that, homelessness and just everything we deal with is a really nuanced thing. And it's never straightforward. When guys come in, sometimes we hear only part of the story, and then it opens up as they come through and we work with them. And sometimes, and there's politics and different ideas about a lot of things. And we sometimes can have really strong opinions on political issues or whatever, but then we've got a person in front of us, and how do we help them, even in the midst of some of those political ideologies, right? Ideologies. So, I wanted her to tell a story about somebody who was here,
Yes.
and that Stephanie worked with, and it's just a really layered, complex story.
Yes.
So we're going to call him Kevin,
Yes.
right?
We're
today.
gonna call him Kevin
That's
today.
his name today. And he was in our mission, and you worked with him. Can you tell a little bit about the story?
Yes. Kevin came to the mission from King County Jail, and the story was kind of like we thought was pretty much black and white. And you got released from jail. Of course, you're gonna have a bed here, and so he came and talked to us that first few days, and he's like, I have no ID, I don't have anything. And I started off in Eastern Washington, and it's like, okay, so why don't you have anything? And all they're really given is a piece of paper, a little wristband that has their picture on it, and that's it. That's all he had. And little by little the story started to unfold, and Kevin came here from Eastern Washington, and unfortunately, he met people at an institution, and they brought him here to King County, and he was kidnapped and trafficked. And unfortunately, when he tried to escape, that they called the police, and he was held for a year and then released. And through this time,
So,
yes.
trafficked.
Human trafficked.
We think of men not being trafficked, and that
Yes.
is not the case.
That is not the case. It does happen to men. Unfortunately, it does. And so with that, he's got a lot of trauma, has
Yeah.
a lot of issues with trust, and does not open up a lot.
Mhm.
Never opened up a lot about a lot of anything until the trust was built with the mission, with the people at the mission. One of the things that he has said was that he appreciates the fact that he felt so much caring here while he was here, and it was something that it made my heart feel really good. It made me want
Right.
to tell everybody about, because it was just like we made a difference in someone's life. Having been trafficked, having lost all of your ID, who you are, that's hard, and not being able to reach out to family, not knowing anyone here. And with his story, he did end up getting, the proper paperwork that he needed to, be identified, who he
Right.
is. And, he's got the kindest heart. But one thing that there, we were just talking about this is the stigma of people that come here. There's a lot of people that come here that just don't have any place else to go. They've never felt love. They never felt family. And for them, that's what this is family. And it was really hard for him to open up to us.
Mm-hmm.
And we built that trust with constantly just reassuring him you're safe. And that might, like I
Mm-hmm.
said, might not seem like a lot, but to be able to feel safe where you are and to come back every day and feel like no one's going to hurt you, no one's
Mm-hmm.
going to traffic you, no one's going to follow you and make sure that you do what they want. And it's very important. And so with his story, coming here to the mission was a step for him. And he almost didn't find it, which was funny because he walked for 2 hours looking for it, and
Mm.
someone said, "Look for the sign," and that's how
That's
he
how he
figured out what
found it.
it
Yeah.
was. But yeah, that's
So, yeah. So he was not from this country,
not from this country.
and you were able to get him ID
Yes,
and work with him in a legal process,
yes,
which has been taken a great deal of time.
it has.
Right.
It's very. It's not like you and I can go over to a department and get our birth certificate. For
Right.
getting it for someone from another country and proving who you are is a very
Mhm.
long process.
Yeah.
Um, and it's unfortunate that it takes that
Yeah.
much, but that's what happens.
So, you the story came out bits and pieces
Yes.
as you got to know him. And obviously, he had trusted some people who took advantage of his trust
He did.
and trafficked him. So when he finally opened up to you and said he was so appreciative of that, like that's huge.
Yeah, yes.
Huge.
For his story to come out, he actually wrote it to me because it's language barriers, but it made it easier for him to express himself. And
Right.
so no, having found that out, the trafficking, it was just like,
Yeah.
what?
And this guy is so smart. Like
Oh yeah,
he speaks 3 languages.
Four.
4.
yeah.
4. How did you see his life change while he was here at the
Oh
mission?
man, he's someone feel they look lost. They have that look, and it's like no hope. And now that when he's gone, it's like what I remember is he had so much hope, and then just
Yeah.
the whole countenance of him was so different. Like when you saw him, you saw joy,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, that's what joy looks like. Like
Yeah.
that's what happiness looks like.
If I had one word to describe him, it would be joy.
Yes, yes, yes. He is joy, and and that's the thing. His experience with the mission was one of happiness, one of joy. For the first time, he felt love, and that's the thing, and that's what he's said countless times. Is for the first time, I feel love, and I know what that means. And he said, I feel like God brought me here, and he kind of dropped me off, and then I got lost for a little bit. But it's just like it's joy that you see because of what he got.
Right.
And it's hard for someone to understand that there's nothing expected of them. That's
Mhm.
one thing that I see a lot, and I saw especially with Kevin, was that it's hard to understand that it's free,
Mhm.
and the joy is free,
Yeah.
and our everything's free,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah. What else would you like to share? We've got about 5 minutes. In about 5 minutes, we're going to go to a national feed where they're going to, with Citygate. But
Okay.
between now and then, what would you like to share about what we do or a story, whatever you'd like?
You know, with the classes, they're really fun with the guys. That has been like one of the most exciting things, and kind of like watching the guys ask questions,
Mm.
or gain that understanding with perspective when it comes to learning things is so cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I've had a guy one time just go, "Oh,"
Oh,
it's like you got
you
it.
got it.
Yeah, and it's just like makes my day
Yeah.
because it's just like it's so cool, and you don't realize how something that small, just watching somebody just get it is just
Yeah.
amazing. And that's one thing that I love. Like
Yeah.
the days that I teach, I'm just like, yeah. And you know, it's so funny because they're like, "Don't you have class today?" I'm like, "Yes, I do."
Yeah. Yeah. And they're so polite.
Oh, they are so polite.
So, okay, you are a woman that works in a men's shelter.
Yes, I
Talk
am.
about that.
You know, you know, a lot of like my family and even friends were like, "You're gonna be the only woman,"
Woman?
and honestly, they've been nothing but polite
Yeah.
and kind. And it's really funny because the guys are guys, and it's always here. There's a woman in here, but it's nice that they are super respectful.
Mhm.
It's nice that they're so kind. They don't. I don't. It's not something I expect. I'm
Mhm.
here serving, and that's what I
Right.
always tell them is I'm here to serve. And the way that they're so kind and friendly, and just
Mhm.
like, if I see them when I'm walking down the street, they're just like, "Hey," or
Yeah.
they're like, "You didn't see me this morning." I'm like, "No, I did. I just didn't want to disturb you because I saw you
Right.
were busy."
Right.
But that's the thing, is the kindness.
Don't you think sometimes, and probably more us than the guys on staff, don't you think you see the little boy they were?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like they need that mom or the little,
Mhm.
they turn in, they're more likely to express how they feel
Yeah.
and be honest about it.
Yeah,
And
they're more apt to kind of man up with the guys
oh yeah,
and
yeah,
and get angry or
yeah,
something. But with us,
it's completely different.
completely different.
It's you hear them talk about things that they wouldn't talk to anyone about,
Mhm.
share things that they wouldn't share anything about.
Right.
And that's the thing, I love that opportunity to be able to listen. A lot
Yeah.
of times I tell them, I don't have to say anything. You can talk and I'll just
Mhm.
listen. And if you just
Mhm.
want to walk away after you're done, I'm fine
Mhm.
with that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just here to serve.
Yeah. Back to the classes. We're at this point where our classroom is full and with the guys in the program, and we need to go to 2 classes all the time.
Yeah.
And we need teachers. We don't have enough staff to teach all the classes, and we need people with other talents.
Yeah.
So, if you would be interested in teaching a class or counseling or whatever, like call us, see if we can work it out. We're looking for volunteers,
Yeah.
and you think about classes. We're treating the whole person.
Yes.
So really, it's reparenting and
Hmm.
helping with past trauma and life skills and job skills and all of those things.
Yes.
So if you've got a talent in something like that, we would love to hear from you. Um, Stephanie, thank you so much for what you do because you bring a light to the mission that I
Thank
love.
you.
And I just think the guys really love working with you. So thank you.
And it's awesome working with them.
Uh,
It's
Thanks.
a gift for me. So
It's a gift to work here.
thank
Yeah.
you.
And, um, so, like I said, we are going to a national feed. Citygate Mission, which we're a part of, is going to do a national interview. And I think you'll find it very interesting. So I will be back here in half an hour, but I hope you'll stay tuned and watch Citygate. It's some important information. So thank you.